AskReddit by Weird Daddy 69. What immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent? Someone who treats the child from their old marriage like shit because they're no longer with that child's parents. Edit. I want to rephrase. Someone who treats the child from their old marriage differently because they're no longer with that child's parent. One of my employees had this happen. Her parents both basically moved on from their old lives when she was 5. Her mom ran off to Australia with some guy she met online, and her dad remarried and moved hours away. Neither of them wanted her. She went with one grandma for a while, then the other, then lived with dad for a while who assaulted her, and then back with grandma. It wasn't until she was an adult that she felt comfortable enough to talk about the assault. She never told anyone when it was happening, and her grandma, dad's mom, told her she must have invited that kind of attention. After all of that, she is the sweetest, most loving person I've ever met. She's had some rough relationships, but she's turned a corner and seems to be blossoming. Came here to make sure I'm not accidentally doing any of these things. Can confirm. I'm so fucking paranoid I'm doing it wrong. Zero interest in the kid. Doesn't care what they do or what happens to them as long as they don't inconvenience them. When my family moved to my current city when I was in high school, the school I enrolled in had the reputation of being a disposal for kicked out kids. Basically, I had a lot of rich classmates who had attitude problems, too much allowance, and extremely neglectful parents. We had 2 separate incidents of 15-year-old classmates get gonorrhea from sleeping with prostitutes. Some classmates frequent bars and men's clubs even though they were very much underaged. One kid brought a bottle of expensive vodka to school and she and a boy drank it all in one sitting. A boy ran over an old lady with his car. Some of them felt like they were untouchable. The parents thought a lot of things can be resolved by money. There are even some who had nannies go to school instead of the parents when the school asked them to disciplinary discussions. We were 3 siblings raised by a single mother, with a village that cared. Who would have thought that we were so much luckier than they were? Parents who can't apologize to a child. It's okay to have human emotions and moment to be triggered or struggling and lash out or be wrong, but for the love of all things good, apologize and change. When my parents apologized to me, whether it was something they did directly to me or simply a poor decision they made but they knew I saw them make, it definitely made an impact on me. Yes, I learned things when I saw them do the right thing, but seeing them mess up and own up about it, that's what really stuck with me. Pulling the I guess I'm the worst parent in the world when approached by their child with a question. Actively making the child feel guilty for expressing their own opinions in an effort to make themselves feel better. Edit. This got too many upvotes. Therapy is on meal mayo. I'm sorry I'm such a terrible mom. Tears. As I get older I realize her being raised by a narcissist definitely damaged her ability to parent me. But I heard that a lot. Refusing to believe their kid can do wrong. What happened in the last 20-30 years? I was a good kid, but had some rebellious years in my teens. If an authority figure went to my parents and told them something about me, they believed them and worked on correcting the issue with me. Mothers who sees their daughter as competition. I asked my therapist why this happens so much, as it has with me and so many women I know. She said the mom projects all her life's regrets and ups and downs and insecurities on this newer, better version of herself. That's what she sees, and it's hypercritical of you as the daughter, when really it's all about them being critical of themselves. Made sense. My daughter's teacher called one day to tell us our daughter was bullying another student so relentlessly that he was afraid to come to school. We talked to our daughter and she had no idea what we were talking about. Whenever we asked the teacher for the student's name, she actually gave it to us. Turns out I know his mother from high school. So I called her and talked with her, and at first she had no idea what I was talking about. Then she suddenly remembered everything and told me this long story about how her son is afraid of my daughter, blah blah blah. I talked with one of this lady's friends a few days later and she told me that this lady confessed to her that she just doesn't get enough sleep, Always misses her alarms in the morning, and just doesn't get up to take her kids to school. Her first instinct when the school called her to talk about absences was to blame my daughter for bullying her kid. Holy shit. Lady at the supermarket's kid threw a wrapper on the floor. She told the other woman they were with to just leave it, someone else will pick it up. That would probably be why her child is throwing garbage on the floor in the first place. Other woman with her picked it up and threw it away. I'm willing to bet the other woman doesn't hang out as much anymore with that mom either. I've been the kind of person to go and pick something up or fix something and been told by someone I was with, don't worry about that, it's not your problem. Why else would they hire people to clean? Every time something like that has happened, it's been like a litmus test. You tell me not to pick it up, I'm still going to pick it up and make a mental note that you're extremely lacking in consideration for anyone else besides yourself. Taking the emotions of your child, first crushes, embarrassing moments that they talked with you about, are unsure about, worries they have, etc., and using it at a family gathering to get a laugh out of everybody. Your child will be so embarrassed because of you and will not talk to you in the future. I am 30 and my mother still does this to me sometimes. The difference today is, I will talk back in front of the whole family and suddenly she is embarrassed. This is why I don't tell my mom stuff I don't want her 500 closest friends to know. Your adult children don't talk to you and you don't know why. Oh, so this is why my father plays the victim. He just doesn't know why. Making negative comments about the child in their presence. All loud enough to hear through the vents, walls, etc. Ironically, never thinking you're a bad parent. Very true. If you're more than a couple years into parenting with no regrets, you aren't thinking critically about your parenting. Parents are human and therefore screw up. You need to recognize those screw ups so you can improve. Parents who believe that their children owe them for providing basic care, food, shelter, clothes, etc. And then guilt you when you place a boundary as an adult and don't do things you no longer want to do. Dumping the whole container of candy into their kid's Halloween bag. Thanks to Ring doorbell cameras, I saw that quite a bit this year. Fortunately, I saw one video where the kids came upon an empty bowl and each took a couple pieces of candy out of their bags and put them in the bowl for other kids. Putting soda in a baby bottle. I've seen parents give their kids a can of pop then an hour later lose their shit on the kid because they're bouncing off the walls and misbehaving. Like, dude, it's your fault. Don't get mad at them because you pumped their tiny body full of sugar and caffeine they can't handle. Having a partner who dislikes or mistreats their children. Talking trad about your kids in front of others. Talking trash about your kid to other parents while kid is right there. They cry about being poor and can't feed their kids, then immediately get a shitty tattoo of their dog in their arm. I saw a post on a military spouse's page asking where the WIC store was to get free diapers, complete with spelling and grammar errors. A week later the same woman was asking a good place to get a tattoo touched up. Complains every day at work that they can't afford to take care of their kid properly. Blaming her own parents that they don't help out enough. Also complains about being hungover every day and brags about buying a PlayStation and a puppy. Punishing kids with haircuts, less food, less attention, or taking their door. Especially for things like asking too many questions or talking back just because they didn't understand something and wanted a real reason or explanation on why they had to do could not do something. Because I said so. Passing out drunk on the neighbor's lawn while the kids are trying to trick or treat. Coworker did this. Well, that's embarrassing. When their adult children have gone no contact. But they have no idea why or the reason they say makes no sense. Allegedly, I cut my mother off because she wouldn't give me money for my wedding. The just normal hall of shame would disagree. Mess was her alias. Yelling at the kid for every trivial thing. Especially with swearing involved. I know that makes me sound like a prude, but it just feels so wrong hearing a parent swear at their kid. They do drugs around their children. Bonus points if they use their kid's urine to pass their UAs for probation. Not believing your child. Calling them a liar to anyone who will listen. Good one. My mother does this. I know that I regularly have crazy shit happen to me, but there have been so many times when I've had zero reason to lie. Could have easily come up with a way more believable story and ultimately been proven right that you'd think she'd have more faith. Not caring about their feelings. Like hello, they are humans too. Bad-mouthing their ex after a divorce to them and turning them against the other parent. Using kids as leverage in general. Or being too occupied fighting each other that they forget that the kid is getting all the bad consequences of their shitty behavior while the child is innocent in all this. Ruining the kid's childhood too. I'm not sure how to explain it, but feeling so superior and entitled that you teach your kids that they're somehow better than others. Child beauty pageants. You didn't put your daughter into the 6-month-old angel baby dream category to boost her self-esteem. That was for you. Kids' diet is soda and fruit snacks. Fruit snacks are candy. And there is nothing wrong with some candy sometimes, but we shouldn't be treating those like a wholesome snack just because they contain 3% fruit juice. Kids were never told I love you. Or I'm proud of you. Toddlers running around in super full diapers to the point where they are almost falling off the kid, while the parents obliviously drink beer. Seeing children who are obviously not well cared for. I was behind a mom and her infant in line at a gas station, and the smell of cigarette smoke, cat pee, and just unwashed body and dirty clothes emanating from them was eye-watering from 3 feet away. I could only imagine the state of their house. Poor baby, it couldn't have been a year old yet. My family lineage includes a long line of molestation and abuse. To me, it doesn't get any more trash than this. Prioritizing your phone over your kid. The kid is morbidly obese and the parent feeds them nothing but fast food and soft drinks and says he won't eat anything else. I go eat lunch occasionally with my kids at school and see this pretty regularly. Kids that are in kindergarten or first grade and must weigh as much as I do drinking a large soda from McDonald's. I honestly think it's child abuse. It breaks my heart knowing the years it could take from their lives. Belittling your child's emotions achievements. More lighthearted than all of the other good ones mentioned, but naming your child something that is spelled like a cat walked across a keyboard in order to make the parents feel unique. And I don't mean names from other ethnicities outside of American Canadian. I'm talking about completely made up, gibberish sounding names that are spelled illiterately. I mean names that do not make sense in any language. Women that put a man before their kids. So you've met my mom. When they treat their children like they are property and not humans. Legally you're mine until you turn 18. Expose their kids to drug and alcohol abuse. Also being obnoxious assholes in general. Their child can do no wrong, and even when caught red-handed committing a crime, they fall all over themselves defending their child. Zero accountability. I gave a kid in my neighborhood $20 for helping me and my kids deal with some leaves in the backyard. The kid is 11. His parents don't really pay much attention to him. Whenever I gave him that money, I told him to put it in his pocket, don't let anyone have it, and make sure he spent it on whatever he wanted. I saw him 2 days after I gave him that money. Asked him how school went, etc. I asked if he had a chance to spend his money yet, and he told me his dad took it for gas money, but in return gave the kid a $10 gift card and a promise to pay it back on Thursday. I don't know this kid's parents personally, But I really hope to never meet that dad. I've been that kid with parents who barely made ends meet, took my money that I earned and never gave it back. Telling their kids to STFU as soon as they require a bit of attention. The look the child makes when they get in trouble with their parents. Can't describe it, but when you see it you'll know and think, I bet they harmed their kid. When I see that look in public I know where there is trash. Parents who accuse the teacher of doing everything wrong instead of holding their child accountable for anything. Boy will be boy, so he's just a kid. Zero parenting flag. Smoking in the car. W kids. Or house. Allowing your kids to disrespect guests, teachers, people in public etc.